Just across the street, it's only $3.96. But $3.99 is probably not what you were hoping for. In fact, it's only 10 cents less than what the peak was for the whole year. That slogan, she says, is going to be a centerpiece of this race. Bombers employees chased Davis to this fence and grabbed his bag while he was trying to climb over. They can cut even more, which could mean sports could be gone. It could mean more layoffs.
We'd like to get a comment from you on camera. I asked for Supervisor Tom Murray.
Nope.
And then you hung up on me when I started to ask another question.
They'll have to tear this whole structure down before a new one can take its place. 63-year-old Gregory Ruth works on plumbing systems in state correctional services projects. His other activities, however, as a manager, were enough to charge him with grand larceny and fraud. I sought out his response tonight in the areas he's been spotted while on the job.
Is Greg Ruth in here? Is there a Greg Ruth here? A Greg Ruth?
This is Greg Ruth, accused of putting more creativity into his time cards than his job. When Ruth was supposed to be here working at the Corning Tower, other employees said he would leave at 12 or 1 o'clock, never coming back.
Do you know where Greg Ruth is by any chance?
Who's that?
I hear he's a regular here.
Investigators followed Ruth to downtown pubs after an anonymous tip that he was bar hopping on the clock. He makes $83,954 a year. The Inspector General says you paid at least $5,000 for Ruth to see what was on tap on 3 different afternoons, but we couldn't find him here after hours.
Greg Ruth?
And when I went to his address, well, no one's home, or at least no one's coming to the door.
It's not only demoralizing to the individual's co-workers, it's also undermining the integrity and the confidence of the state workforce.
That includes Mike Danaher, laid off from the state Senate in January.
If you're going to try to cut the fat, cut it from the higher end guys that are making $80,000, $150,000 a year that are there for half the day.
Anybody that's getting paid to sit in the bar drinking while he's being paid to work should be fired.
Do you think more people are doing this than we know about?
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt.
And OGS released this statement saying Mr. Ruth has been suspended without pay pending the resolution of disciplinary and criminal proceedings. Inside, board members decided they want to go back to the unions to ask for some concessions before they decide anything on a budget. But that just caused tempers to explode out here on the street.
Do you see all the programs they're cutting because we don't have the money?
But do you think money is going to be just keep throwing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, something that's going to solve it?
If you effectively spend, you get a good education.
I don't care. It's too much.
Angry taxpayers facing off with a teacher who just received a pink slip as board members decide union concessions are their only hope for restoring positions and easing the tax levy.
Then I think we're done. That's it. That's the only thing left to look at.
And back outside, Stan Juronsky says, okay.
I would like to see the pay freeze. Personally, I would agree to it.
Members are also trying to think outside the box, suggesting transportation cuts.
It's never over till it's over.
Anything to spare a long list of programs from the chopping block.
All sports, extracurricular activities, and all clubs. Students shouldn't pay for the state of New York making decisions like they made.
If unions won't concede, the board could cut 42 more positions, a total of 104. That would bring the tax levy increase from 16% down to 5%. Still too much for some.
We're pissed. As much as you got to cut, you cut. Period.
Board members will meet again with the unions June 1st to try to decide what they can restore and where. In Amsterdam, Marie Luby, News 10. Tina Mesko last spoke to her cousin, James Carl Williamson Jr., Friday night. His voicemail box is full, and he isn't responding to her text messages.
We are desperate. We are grasping at straws. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
46-year-old James may have been at work across the street from this Papa John's when the tornado hit.
We never think it's going to hit somebody we know.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day...
It does. Yep, it's heart-wrenching.
I called the Red Cross asking where Tina should look. I'm just trying to find out if there's anything I can do to try to help her track this relative down. And they pointed me online. This website, safeandwell.org, is a running list that the Red Cross is keeping of people who have checked in saying that they're okay. But there's a growing backlog, so a lot of people who have signed in with the Red Cross are not on this list yet.
Can you tell me if you have a James see Williamson Jr. from Joplin, Missouri there.
Tina's daughter has called 17 hospitals as far away as Colorado, none listing James as their patient. And she searched almost a dozen Facebook pages with lost and found faces from Joplin.
It's very, very stressful.
His 2 children, both in their 20s, are driving from Kansas City to Joplin to start their own search for their father.
His children need to know that he's okay.
James Williamson survived something most of us could never imagine. I helped his cousin find a picture of him to post online, and within hours, someone spotted him. Tonight, I interviewed him over the phone with the help of our sister station in Joplin, and we found a way to reconnect the family.
Listen to it!
The tornado blew James Williamson sideways in the air. He'd tied himself to a pole in the ground.
Everything was just flying, and cars and trees and everything. It was just unbelievable.
How lucky do you feel to be alive?
You know, very. Sometimes I wish. There's a lot of people out there lost their lives.
Williamson is trying to save the rest. So far, he's pulled 17 people from the rubble.
It's like a battlefield. It's like a battlefield. There's no help.
James had a special message for his cousin, Tina, so I invited her here to the station to see the message for herself.
I'd like to tell Tina and the rest of her sisters and brothers, which is Mark, Susie, and Lisa, that I love them very much.
That's amazing. I'm so glad that I got to see that. I just want to hug him.
And I can't imagine the pride you must be feeling at what he is doing.
I'm very proud.
But James isn't looking for recognition.
Do you feel like you're a hero?
I look at it like this. That's for God to decide.
I think he's a hero. He didn't for once stop to think about himself.
He has no home, no job, but no time to think about that.
Those 232 that are still missing, we're still looking.
Williamson says he won't stop until everyone is accounted for. And Tina Mesko wants to visit him in person and give him that hug once they can work out a time.